Compassion is not a luxury for the spiritually advanced. It is the daily bread that nourishes our shared humanity. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about practicing compassion toward others every day. Enjoy. In a world that often feels divided, harsh, and quick to judge, there's a quiet revolution happening one heart at a time. It's the practice of compassion, not as a grand gesture or a perfect ideal, but as a daily choice to see others with softer eyes, to respond with understanding instead of judgment, to remember that everyone you meet is fighting battles you know nothing about. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how practicing compassion toward others isn't just a gift you give to them, it's a transformation that changes you from the inside out, creating ripples of healing that extend far beyond what you can see. Compassion is often misunderstood. It's not about being a pushover or agreeing with everyone. It's not about excusing harmful behavior or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. True compassion is much deeper and more powerful than that. It's the ability to see the humanity in others, even when they're at their worst. It's the recognition that pain often drives people to act in ways that create more pain, and that understanding this doesn't excuse the behavior but can help us respond more skillfully. Think about the last time someone was rude to you, cut you off in traffic, or treated you dismissively. Your first instinct was probably to judge them, to create a story about what kind of person they must be. But what if, in that moment, you paused and considered what might be happening in their world? What if they just received devastating news? What if they're struggling with something you can't see? What if they're doing the best they can with the tools they have? This shift in perspective doesn't mean you have to accept poor treatment or that boundaries aren't important. It means you can respond from a place of strength and clarity rather than reactivity and judgment. When you practice compassion, you're not being weak, you're being wise. You're choosing to break the cycle of hurt that gets passed from person to person like an invisible contagion. Compassion starts with recognizing our shared humanity. Every person you encounter has experienced joy and sorrow, hope and disappointment, love and loss. Every person has dreams that matter to them, fears that keep them awake at night, and a deep desire to be understood and valued. When you remember this, it becomes harder to see others as enemies or obstacles, and easier to see them as fellow travelers on this complex journey of being human. One of the most powerful ways to practice compassion is through the simple act of listening. Really listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, not formulating your response, not judging what you're hearing, but truly trying to understand another person's experience. When someone feels heard, something magical happens. Their defenses soften, their heart opens, and connection becomes possible. Compassion also means giving people the benefit of the doubt. Instead of assuming the worst about someone's intentions, what if you assumed they were doing their best with what they have? This doesn't mean being naive or ignoring red flags, but it means starting from a place of generosity rather than suspicion. Sometimes compassion looks like forgiveness, not because the other person deserves it, but because carrying resentment hurts you more than it hurts them. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing harmful behavior. It means releasing the grip that anger and hurt have on your heart so you can move forward with freedom and peace. Other times, compassion looks like setting healthy boundaries with love. You can care about someone deeply while still protecting your own well-being. You can wish someone well while choosing not to engage with their toxic behavior. Compassion includes having compassion for yourself, which sometimes means saying no to others. The practice of compassion also extends to how you think and speak about people who aren't present. It's easy to be kind to someone's face and then criticize them behind their back. But true compassion means extending the same understanding and generosity in private that you would in person. It means speaking about others the way you would want to be spoken about. One of the most challenging aspects of practicing compassion is extending it to people whose actions or beliefs you strongly disagree with. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them or support their choices, but it means remembering that they, too, are human beings with their own stories, wounds, and reasons for being who they are. You can oppose someone's actions while still holding compassion for their humanity. The beautiful thing about practicing compassion is that it changes you. When you choose to see others with kindness, you become a kinder person. When you respond to conflict with understanding, you become more understanding. When you offer grace to others, you learn to offer grace to yourself. Compassion is both a practice and a result. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Remember, you don't have to be perfect at this. Compassion is a practice, not a destination. There will be days when you react with judgment instead of understanding, when you choose criticism over kindness. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Each time you choose compassion, you're contributing to a more loving world. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening. If today's episode resonated with you, I've created something to help you take the next small step. I've put together a series of better habit guides designed for people who feel behind in life and want a simple, practical reset without overwhelm. You can explore all of them at 7goodminutes.com/guides. That's 7goodminutes.com/guides.